Good evening, this is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated, Journato, evening headlines on December 24, 2022. Pussy Riot song protests against war in Ukraine and calls for Putin to be prosecuted. Taliban ban Afghan women from working at NGOs. Trump News, live, rattled Trump lashes out as January 6 panel finishes investigation and tax return release looms. The Independent, Jan. 6 committee tackled unprecedented attack with time-tested inquiry. The Conversation Indonesia, opinion, January 6 committee recommendations would, mostly, help preserve democracy. The Washington Post, Jan. 6 committee's new report flips a script on history. Aer Lingus, New York-Dublin flight in U-turn after technical issue. Iran protests, activist Narges Mohammadi details abuse of detained women. South Africa, fuel tanker explosion kills at least 9 near hospital. BBC, 8 dead and several injured as fuel tanker explodes in South Africa's Johannesburg. English news. CNN News 18, moment fuel tanker explodes in South Africa, killing 8 people. The Telegraph, truck with liquefied gas explodes in South Africa, 8 killed. The Independent, South Africa tanker explosion, 8 dead, several killed in explosion. Rescue operations underway. Winter storm Elliott. Blackouts across U.S. as airlines cancel over 5,000 flights. Live. The Independent, bomb cyclone brings cold and snow to the U.S. Sky News, U.S. winter storm hits and hell freezes over as 17 people die in Christmas bomb cyclone. The Mirror, epic winter storm wallops U.S., leaving 1 MLN without power. The Serpent killer Charles Sobhraj arrives back in France after nearly 2 decades. Sky News, Serpent, serial killer Charles Sobhraj returns to France after 19 years in prison. The Guardian, notorious French serial killer Charles Sobhraj known as the Serpent freed from Nepal prison. Euronews, Serpent killer Charles Sobhraj arrives in France after 2 decades behind bars in Nepal. The Independent, Charles Sobhraj to undergo open heart surgery. All you want to know about it. Polar bears vanishing from polar bear capital of the world, in Canada. The Guardian, Canadian polar bears dying in high numbers, study finds. Bracknell News, Canada polar bears declining at alarming rate, study finds. Al Jazeera English, polar bears in key Canada region dying, causes, effects. Afghanistan protests, Taliban use water cannon on women opposing university ban. BBC, Malala devastated at Taliban's university ban for Afghan women. BBC News. BBC News, Afghan Taliban use barbed wire fence and armed guards to keep women out of universities. The Independent, Afghan women need international support. Hindustan Times, women's rights are always fragile. Ask Afghans, comment. Paris police use tear gas on protesters decrying Kurdish center killings. The Guardian, Paris shooting, 3 dead and several injured in attack. BBC, Paris shooting, clashes as vigil held for Kurdish victims of attack. Euronews, odious attack, Paris gunman clearly targeted foreigners, French minister says. The Local France, clashes erupt with French police outside scene of deadly shooting in Paris. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.